All right, here we go.
Yes.
Yo, Bellamy, welcome to Vlad TV. Round of applause. Round of applause, everybody.
Can't wait to be here, man.
Hey,
I love this.
Long-time fan.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Long-time fan. You got classic movies under your belt.
I'm the culture, man.
Yeah, of course, man. You had your MTV run, which is a very pivotal time in music.
Absolutely.
You know, interviewed very important people. We'll talk about all that. And I'm definitely honored to have you here today.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm excited.
First time here. Let's start at the very beginning. Born and raised in Newark, New Jersey.
Correct.
Okay. And your parents have an interesting story. Your mom was 16 when she had you. I read your book, by the way.
Thank you.
I read your
Top
book. We'll show top billing. We'll show the book on the screen right now. Make sure you either read it or do the audiobook version, which is what I just did. Read in your voice, by the way.
Thank you.
So you said in your book, your mom was 16 when she had you, and your dad was 19.
19.
By today's standards,
yeah, it was a little rugged. It was a little rugged. And I promise you, she didn't get pregnant at 16 either. She probably got pregnant at 15 and a half, you know, something like that.
15 and a half.
I was like, it was so funny.
Your dad was 18?
Yeah, I'm like, Dad, I'm doing the math on this, man. What's up? He was like, boy, yeah, this is interesting. It was funny because he was kind of like flushed, didn't know what to say. I was like, Dad, you know, Mommy was young. He was like, yeah.
So she was like a freshman in high school, and he had just graduated, maybe?
He was a senior, yeah.
Oh, he was a senior.
He was graduating, and my mom was a freshman. So he was about, you know, he got out of high school, he's graduating, but he liked my mom. So she's going into her 10th grade, and boom, bam. Wow.
Hey, listen.
Hey, they ain't had no laws back then.
That's right. Clearly no one had a problem with
love
it.
Is love.
It just is what it is.
My dad loved it,
Love
man.
wins.
Love wins.
Love wins.
High school
love. So Newark in the 70s and early 80s was an interesting time. But there was riots that were actually happening out there. So what was that like during that era?
Well, you know, Newark was one of those cities that was a very industrial city. There was a lot of immigrants there because, you know, we had the port there. We had all these different immigrants coming from different places because the North was actually a place for jobs. So everybody was getting a job, either at a plant, you worked at Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer, you worked at, my mom and dad worked in the warehouses and different pharmaceutical. My mom worked in pharmaceutical, my dad worked in manufacturing. So coming from the South to the North was just a land of opportunity. But Newark, New Jersey was a hotbed because you got to understand there was a race riot there. There was the Black Panthers there. There was a lot of the Muslims were there. And so there was this whole sort of like pro-Black movement going on right outside of New York in Newark, New Jersey. We had tanks going down the middle of the street. Like they called it the National Guard. Like it was heavy. And so there was like, I feel like the 60s going into the 70s was like a soundtrack of soul and of political vibes. It was also an era of hope too, because there were certain, you know, people pushing for civil rights. There was a mood in the city at that time where people were not just they weren't taking no for an answer. So it was a lot of energy in my city coming up. There was a toughness about Newark, New Jersey. I mean, you had to know how to fight for some reason. I felt like you get a carton of milk and you learn how to box. It was some weird shit going on.
Well, in your book, you talked about how you had friends that got caught up in the drug game, but you yourself never got into it.
Well, you know, when I was growing up in the hood in Newark, you know, it was a lot of cats hustling, you know what I'm saying? And disappearing too. That was what was weird. Like you would see some dude that, you know, he had a nice car, he had a nice chain, he always had the nice little shorties and stuff, had the fly coat, be missing 3 summers.
Yeah.
Maybe 5, you know, come home like, yo, looking different, more adult, more hardened and shit. And so when I was seeing some of my friends go to jail, then I was seeing a couple of my friends get killed, I was kind of like, yo, man, this drug thing is not popping. It's like you get 4 summers of like, you know, you Al Capone for 4 summers, and you missing for 10. I was like, nah, I don't know if that's my lane. I just never thought it was sexy to be on that edge of it because you never know. It's every day is your last to me on that tip. So I never wanted to do something that all of a sudden everything's gone in a day. So that's why I never hustled.
Yeah, I mean, I've interviewed so many drug kingpins over the years, and the pattern I've always seen was about 5 to 1 in terms of if you hustle for 2 years and you're balling and you got the cars and the girls and the jewelry, you'll end up doing 10 years.
Yeah.
And the math...
2 to 10.
Yeah. 2 to 10.
Yeah.
The math just doesn't
math. The math never mathed for me. Like, I
does.
never wanted to be a guy to have all of this stuff, you know, like sort of like the Frank White story, or, you know what I mean? Or, you know, Pablo Escobar. You know, there is an end to that. No matter how big you go, how long you hustle, unless you pivot, at some point, it's going to be a complete halt, right? And then your money stop, then your cachet, maybe you put your properties in this, that, and the other, but there's only a few cats that I know hustled and just bounced out. And I probably only know 2 or 3. And there's a couple of them are rappers, but I'm just saying, I'm just keeping it 100.
I honestly don't know any. And, you know, my interviews with, for example, like the Freeway Rick Rosses of the world, they'll put their, you know, they'll go to prison, put their property in someone's name, then they get out, and that person doesn't want to give the property back.
Right.
It's in their name. What are you going to do?
It's mine. It's mine.
Go sue them because you're drug profits? You're trying to hide drug profits? No, it's gone.
It's gone.
Whatever money they put aside, well, that person had bills. You know, they didn't think you were coming out, so they had to spend it. And it just, most people come out to nothing.
Yeah, and that was definitely a deterrent for me. And I just felt like I wanted to do something big. Didn't know I would ever be an actor. Did not know I would ever become successful in the entertainment game. I just knew I wanted to do something big with my life, and I wanted to be an inspiration to cats that look like me, that came from spots like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always been my goal. Like, I just want to rep cats that look like me. Like, I want to show cats that, yo, man, you could make it happen. You ain't got to only sell drugs. You ain't only got to play ball, you know. You can be smart. You can be creative. You can be an artist. You know what I'm saying? You could create your own wave. And that's what I've been doing for, 28, I don't know, maybe 29 now, years.
Now, Shaquille O'Neal is your second cousin.
Yes.
Did you guys hang out as kids?
Kind of like, it was interesting because Shaquille moved around a lot. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't as close as I would have liked, because with his stepfather and the way they was moving in the military, he was in Newark for 2-3 years and then he's gone. Now they in Texas, you know what I'm saying? So, and now I'm on. What was beautiful though was the snapshots, hang out, and we've literally got hot at the same time, which is unbelievable. Because you got to understand, I'm on MTV when Shaquille was coming in the league. And it literally came full circle. We was like, yo, we here. It was electric.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we feel like we both representing Jersey to the fullest. We did Reebok commercial, Pepsi's commercials. Like, you can go online and see, we did a bunch of stuff together because we literally was rocking out at the same time. Our campaigns were running simultaneously. So it's pretty cool.